It looks like we have a massive update on the Seth Rollins injury. We now know what the injury was that Rollins suffered in that match against Jinder Mahal on Monday Night Raw. Speculation about how long he could be out. All that and more coming up. I'm going to tell you everything we know about the situation so far. Before I do, though, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, so FightfulSelect.com, the good people over at Fightful.com, Sean Ross Sapp and company, have reported that sources close to Seth Rollins and WWE claim that Rollins has suffered a torn MCL and a partially torn meniscus. So that is in that knee. He has avoided the dreaded ACL tear that, if that were the case, we'd be in a whole different conversation. Of course, recently, Charlotte Flair, former women's world champion in WWE, had suffered a torn ACL, and she was out. She's going to be out for nearly a year with that injury. But now we know partially torn meniscus and a torn MCL. At this point, it is not known whether or not Rollins is going to need surgery. Of course, Rollins has a track record with knee injuries. I brought up the fact that he had a knee injury back in 2015 when he had to relinquish the belt back then. Hopefully that doesn't happen here, but with an injury like a torn MCL and a partially torn meniscus, there's a lot to talk about here. Of course, Rollins did tear his MCL. This has kind of happened before in a weird way. Rollins did suffer a torn MCL back in 2017. If you guys remember, back in early 2017, leading up to that match between himself and Triple H at Mania 33, he suffered that torn MCL right around this time of the year, and he ended up being able to wrestle and wrestled a decent match against Triple H. Decent because of other reasons, not because Seth Rollins didn't bring it. But Rollins' point is Rollins can wrestle. He has wrestled through this injury, and there's reason to believe that he can do it again. It does really depend on whether or not he needs surgery. And right now, on the bright side, if you can call it a bright side, we still have a little bit of time between now and Mania. We're about a little under 8 weeks away from WrestleMania really kicking off. So there is time, you would think, for Rollins to, get back to it and heal and hopefully have time to get back to it and get in in-ring shape before a match. Of course, Rollins' health is the most important thing. If for whatever reason there's a setback or he's not able to go and WWE and himself decide that, maybe this injury is too serious, then it's a whole different game. Speaking of which, we are also learning from WrestleVotes, who has reported that Rollins is going to apparently address the WWE Universe. That's the plan right now. Rollins is going to address the WWE Universe live on Monday Night Raw regarding his future. And there's obviously a lot that could happen here. You could have a situation where they legitimately announce that Rollins is too injured to wrestle and that he's going to be out for too long and he's going to need surgery and that he will now be forced to vacate the belt, which, of course, then you have Damian Priest waiting in the wings. You have CM Punk potentially waiting in the wings. Drew McIntyre, 3 world championship contenders right there. On the flip side, this also could be a bit of a bait and switch where Rollins goes, I've suffered this injury before, and I'm going to come back even stronger just like I did last time. Rollins is like, the ultimate troll in WWE, so it would be within his character to do this. The reality is we won't know until we know. And my hope is that Rollins is able to go and, they're able to be like, okay, we don't need to have him wrestle at all between now and Mania. And at Mania, we'll have him go for the belt. There also is another scenario where Rollins actually wrestles a match on Monday Night Raw, and that match being that Damian Priest cashes in Money in the Bank and wins the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins, which would be absolutely bonkers, but That's in play too. That could be a way to get the belt off of Rollins, potentially defend that belt, because we know Roman Reigns is not going to be defending the belt anywhere between now and WrestleMania. So if that's the case, and you're sitting there, or between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, I should say, but if that's the case, you're going to need a world champion on Raw. You're going to need a presence on Raw. You're going to need a world champion to actually represent the company between now and Mania. And that could be the decision that is made, to have Damian Priest be the guy to carry that mantle in that stead. Of course, all of this is conjecture. This is all me just kind of analyzing and looking at the landscape of things and how things may shape up. The reality is we won't know. Another tidbit here that I do want to mention, of course, is that Rollins is a very, very, very loyal guy. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Rollins is Mr. WWE. If there's anyone that I believe, if the circumstances are right, would and could tough out an injury like this, it is Seth Rollins. Not just because he's done it before, just because of the sheer will and determination he has to prove to everyone that he is the best in WWE. He's gone out there and done it. He said it. He's been saying it for years. And, you know, if there's anyone in WWE you can say who's walked the walk, it's Seth Rollins. So, of course, all is to be determined in the future. I want to hear from all of you people out there. What do you think about this update? What do you think about Rollins? Is he going to be forced to vacate the belt on Monday Night Raw? Or, in fact, is it a bait and switch? Is it a shocker? Are we going to get that Mark Henry moment that we got where he's like, nope, I'm not going anywhere? I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.